We got some Premier One fencing here. We were down at the feed store the other day, ended up coming across one of these. I ended up getting 2 of them. Pretty simple little thing here, a little corner feeder. My plan is actually to stick these inside the coop. They won't take up much space, they'll sit in the corner. They have these neat little tabs here, so we should hopefully be able just to utilize that to hook it on. That way we can always take it out and clean it up if we need to. And the plan is to put one for grit and one for some sort of calcium as they get more into egg production, you know, maybe something like some oyster shell or something like that. But of course we want this separate from their normal feed, so that way they have the option to consume as much or as little as they want. So we ended up ordering some electric fencing just the other day. It shipped out of Iowa, came from Premier One, showed up really quickly. I was very pleased about that. This is gonna be our first time actually ever using any electric fencing with any of our animals. We do put up electric fencing every once in a while around our corn in the fall time, just as it starts to become ripe, just to try to keep raccoons out of it. But really would like to make sure we keep our chickens safe. We have a lot of coyotes around here. Dumb coyotes. A lot of bear. A lot of things that are out to get it. We've lost chickens in the past. I think we even lost them to some bobcats one time. So we're gonna basically have this set up just to keep them protected. I ended up ordering the solar setup just because I really want to have them very mobile. I don't want to be tied down to a bunch of stuff, and would like to move it probably every couple of days or once a week, something like that. So we'll get everything set up today and start getting these chickens adjusted to it. So the fencing I ended up ordering, you can see it's in this box here, is some Poultry 48-inch Plus. Basically the Plus has additional supports at a lot closer range to help keep a lot of the slack out of the fencing. They sell us in a 42 and a 48. We have Buff Orpingtons this year. We definitely change up our breeds. We really like the Rainbow Rangers, or sometimes they're called Freedom Rangers for meat chickens, but Buff Orpingtons aren't really all that like a flighty type bird like you get with like a Leghorn or something like that that might jump out. And it wasn't all that much more to go from a 42 to a 48 inch. And to be honest, one of the main reasons we're having this fence is not necessarily to contain the chickens, it's more to keep the predators out. And I see coyotes jump up on the big, huge round hay bales out here all the time, just laying up there taking a nap, and a lot of times those are 6 feet tall. So I'd rather just spend a little bit more money up front. Not a whole lot, I don't remember, it was 20 bucks more or something like that, and not have to rebuy the fence down the road if we change up breed, and just to give a little extra support for the chickens. Sure is a warm one today. I'm gonna throw some shorts on real quick and then we'll start getting this fencing set up. So I ended up not dragging these guys out too far. We're just gonna have them sit here where we can keep a little closer eye, just look out our back window here and make sure everything's going as planned as these guys start to learn this fence. But to be honest, I think they're kind of wimps. They haven't really ventured out too much. So of course the kit came with the fencing itself, some extra support posts that go into the corner to give a little extra support. We got a fence tester, and then of course the energizer, and then it also comes with a 110 outlet, so if you're not getting enough solar power, especially in like the winter months, you can charge it as well. So I did want to make note that we did purchase this fencing ourselves. It wasn't sent out to us or anything like that. We looked at a couple of different brands. Premier One seemed to be one of the best options for us. And it was a little hard to swallow the cost, about 450 bucks for this thing. Most of that money, I believe, is going into the actual fencing charger itself. It looks like you can get additional netting at a relatively lower price than this big, huge initial cost. But we've been talking about putting our pigs on electric fence for the last couple of years. I've been really wanting to be able to move them, especially when we get into real wet parts of the year. And sometimes their pig pen just gets so wet and muddy, and it'd be nice to be able to pick them up and move them, and having an electric fence would definitely make that option. Not perfectly squared up, but it's going to take a little work for me just to kind of get the hang of things, getting things set up. It really wasn't very bad. What we'll do is we'll hook up the charger here real quick, we'll test things out, and I'm going to give it a little touch myself just to see what we're dealing with here. So we live in the land of 10,000 lakes. The grass is generally pretty green except for in the month of August, so there's good ground connectivity, a lot of moisture in the soil. There's two different ways that I know of that you can set these fences up. There's the positive, negative, or there's just the positive type fence, or the kind of the quote-unquote standard method. Real dry climate, like there's not a lot of moisture in the soil, so you set this thing up as a positive, negative fencing. But in this case, since we got decent green grass at this point, we're just going to set this up as a positive. So we're just going to connect our positive to the fencing, and then we're going to connect our negative to the ground on this. Part of the reason I'm really excited about this unit here itself, let's see if we can get it, is it's got a ground plate like this. It actually slides into the bottom of the case here, and that way we're not having to run around and pound big long stakes, and we can actually just slide it into the case here like this. Aim this towards the sun, push it on in. We'll connect our ground, and then we connect our positive up to the fence. Now we just turn it on. Oh, you can hear it. So I have the charger sitting there facing the sun. The fence starts going around and then finishes there. We're just going to come down somewhere a little ways away from this, and we're gonna make sure everything is working right. Hopefully we can get some shadow here so the light is visible here on the camera. You can see it's coming in at 6K right now, so there's definitely power there. You can even hear the snapping sound. We're coming out and exploring a little bit. If you actually look here on the panel itself, there's an adjustment here. Right now it's actually set at 43, which is more ideal for the spring and fall time. 36 is more ideal for summer, so that's really what I should switch it to. And 50 degrees is more ideal for the winter. What are you guys up to? So I got some waters inside the coop. These guys have been hanging out outside the coop, so I think I'm gonna go get a big water and put that out here for them. Sounds like the neighbor's out there doing some hay or something. That looks like he's doing a second cut in the hay. All right, we'll flip this bad boy off real quick. We'll get the water in here. Hit the power button. So these chickens are about 4 weeks old. I've been putting them in at night. We just wheel this whole entire thing into the garage because it's insulated in there. The temperatures are been getting into the low 70s, high 60s at night. And with things being insulated, it seems to be okay. Ideally, we probably got another 2 more weeks until they're fully feathered out before they actually spend the full night out. But shouldn't be too big of a deal. Just open things up and wheel them in. But I did want to kind of test this fence. So years ago, I used to do some SAP work, BW or business intelligence, where we do a lot of data mining. We had these tools that people would use to pull data. And one of his big classic sayings is, you know, we got to eat our own dog food, you know. So since we're making the chickens use this a little bit, realistically it's not to keep the chickens in, but keep predators out. But I just want to give this thing a little touch. I've been zapped before by like, we have a 50-mile type one I've been nailed with. I've been nailed a couple of times when I've gone out and cut firewood on some of the other farmers' places around here, but we'll just see what happens here. Oh, there it goes. That'll wake you up. Yeah, it wasn't too bad though. So I have to admit, I'm pretty excited about this. This is going to allow us to pasture raise the chickens with security, I guess, in some ways. It'll help cut down their feed costs. Of course, then we can put them where we want them. So if we're cleaning up a particular area in the garden, we can put the chickens to work, have them clean things up without them getting into some areas that we'd like to keep them out of. You know, one thing I was actually even thinking about a little bit was spacing out rows next year a little bit, picking up a couple extra rolls of this fencing and have it go in between the rows so they can potentially clean up some weeds. That might be something I might experiment with a little bit next year. But very, very excited about this. I think one of the things as well is a lot of times we'll free range our chickens, and a lot of times over time they start getting more and more comfortable and they'll stray away. And the area that we tend to run into problems with them having issues with predators when they get out into some of the long grasses, like out in the hay fields. Sometimes they'll go across the road where there's long grass over there. And having this fencing allows them to roam around while still being kept safe and not going into areas they shouldn't. It's kind of funny, the old joke, why the chicken cross the road, has come up so many times over at our place. There was one time my wife was out here working in the garden or something and the chickens decided to cross the road. She's over there trying to herd them all back, and here comes a school bus that's got to stop and wait while she's got her arms full of chickens and trying to herd them all back across the road. I'm sure it was quite the sight to see. So anyways, we'll wrap up today's video here. I just thought I would show you guys some of the excitement that's going on. If you're new here, like what you see, consider subscribing. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.